disadvantaged. We don't seem to have a program, unless I misunderstand it.
Okay, good. I have about 3 layers of answers for that. The way that Ernest Holmes originally wrote it was very much individualistic, absolutely. So the earlier on ideas of science of mind was very much self, and a lot of people used it that way only. If you listen to me, what you will have heard is that the reason to take care of yourself is so that you make a difference into the rest of the world. I say that all the time. I can't speak to how other ministers do that, but I say all the time, I want every single one of us to be so healed on an individual level and so loving and so whatever that thing I'm talking about that day that we automatically spill that over. How we do that is actually a new emergence. How do we get involved in a social way? Our organization, up until recently, has not been allowed to do social action. Because it's been, the way Ernest Holmes originally espoused it, was individual. So for many, many years, you're right, it was absolutely all about the individual. Now there's a lot of ministers going, wait a minute. We need to take this beyond individual. Once we wake up, we need to share it. Okay, so those of us in spiritual leadership like this, that's what I'm doing, I'm sharing that. But the idea of how to do it has been, we don't talk about that, how to do it, until recently. And there's still a little bit of that element as, I'm not going to tell you how, and I'm not going to tell you what your obligation is, because don't use that word, obligation. I'm not obligated to do anything. I want you to choose. Let me just speak for me. So, because it taps into what David's saying, that there's got to be some moral, there's got to be some obligation, there's got to be, see, these words are shoulding you. And what I want to do is say, choose what you want to do. Choose that. So I don't even use that word, but I get your question. So interestingly enough, to that, there's a whole group of us now starting to say, how do we get involved? How do we make a difference in the world beyond our churches? So in 2016, we will be starting to do this with a whole, right now, 100 other churches are going to join into what's called a world, the global vision, a world that works for everyone.
Yeah.
And we are going to participate in the program. But good that you asked. So yes, the evolution has been very single-minded. Now to broaden it out and broaden it, because we have this thing called the global vision. By the way, we will be changing a little bit of our vision statement to make it match. So rather than saying the global heart, we're saying 2 other things now. We're saying global vision, or we're saying the world that works for everyone. How we do the world that works for everyone is still going to come down to an individual choice. You're going to hear me say all the time, it's still an individual choice, but what can you do? Is your passion to get involved with helping to feed people? Is your passion involved in helping battered women, et cetera, et cetera? What's your passion? Get involved there. There's actually a lot of vision around here for feeding the homeless. We have a lot of it. It's just the red tape to get it done is a little bit daunting. We checked it out back in, when did you graduate, Becky? 08. That was part of Becky's practitioner vision, was to have a soup kitchen type thing here on Sundays. But the red tape to get it done, it's big. It's still part of our vision. So in 2016, one Sunday a month, I'm not going to do every single week, but one Sunday a month, there is going to be a theme that 100 other churches right now, probably more, are going to participate in, and we will be doing it. The global vision, a world that works for everyone.
Yeah.
So the whole year, we will be talking about that.
Cool.
Good?
Yeah.
Very good.
And in the meantime, I still say, you changed your life, healed your life, and you will overflow into the world. Mary.
It's not a science.
Oh, good. In case you don't know, Mary is our resident scientist. Okay, so she's going to be the last one because it's time to wrap up.
Okay, very quickly. Science of Mind focuses on positivity as through use of affirmations. And I have friends that see the affirmations of changing a person's negative belief to more positive belief. They see that as a crutch, in a sense, that doesn't they have seen people that have become more positive, but for some reason they're not grounded in life. So they're living in this space of positivity, but nothing is happening in their life. How would you explain that? Because people ask me, well, I know so-and-so, and they go to this positive thinking church, and they just don't seem to be aligned with reality and having their feet grounded, to allow things to happen in their real life. So
Wait, I thought I knew I was going to answer you, but as soon as you threw in the word reality,
okay,
that's a different answer then.
yeah,
Okay, so I'll answer as best as I understand what you're saying. If any person, I have so many things wanting to come out. It's like this, coming in right at the moment. We're really not about positivity. This church is not really about positivity per se.
I've heard it used that way, that's why I said I wasn't too sure about that.
Yeah.
Because it's starting to come out now.
Yeah, and I'm going to hold that thought. I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. I mean, what do you mean you're not about positivity? We're really not about positivity. So somebody who is using an affirmation in a wannabe way, but doesn't really have the ground of what it's all about, they're not going to have results. Excuse me, when I teach foundational class, I tell them, you start with the affirmation to help remind you of your truth. But the point of an affirmation is not to go, right now I have a little bit of a health challenge going on, and to say, like if I was to say, I'm healthy and whole and everything is fine, without acknowledging what's going on would be phony. To be acknowledging what's going on, and then to know at the ground level I have a greater truth. That's the reason to use an affirmation. So it sounds like that your friends are experiencing people who are doing that. How are you today? Oh, I'm fine. When they're not.
Where's reality?
I won't say the acronym, but so you know what I mean? They're trying to go, I'm fine and I'm positive. Don't ever do that. The whole point of using affirmation is to keep reminding ourselves of a truth, right? We know the ground of our being is God. That one source is who we are. I use an affirmation when I start to forget, oh, that's right, there's a power greater than I am, and I'm going to make this declarative, affirmative statement to remind me my real truth, my reality is that I'm a child of God. So the affirmation is not meant to just get positive. I'm sure we all know plenty of people who say, I'm just supposed to be positive now. That's missing the mark. We're really meant to know at a deep, deep level who we are. Who am I? God is my source. What am I here? I'm here to express God on earth. Not to go, everything's fine. I'm over-exaggerating it so you get my point. So everybody gets my point. All right? Acknowledge when things are tough, but then use the affirmation to get us back, again, to that alignment. That's the purpose of using an affirmation, not just to be fluffy. And that's how I see it. I'm just fluffy. I'm going to be positive. Really? Have you screamed a little bit about that situation? Yeah. That's what I do. Scream about it and then remind yourself who you are. Don't be fluffy.
And Sean, in the positivity, it's more good. God is good, and then good is out there. And that's what we're...
It's refocusing to that.
Right.
Genesis said about the good, that we're refocusing to the good. Not just to put on a nice, sweet, happy face when that's not how you feel. That's just fun. I'm a big advocate. I know I'm going a little bit off that now, but I'll just finish with this. I'm a big advocate of if you have something deep going on, you go see a practitioner or you come to me and you punch pillows and you scream and you cuss and you cry and you do whatever you need to do. Just don't get stuck there. And now we start to realign by using treatment. This is your truth. Your truth is that you are God beings, not separate from something that created you, but right here. And all we have to do is 3 times today, realign. It's like we've just gotten off the track, or we've gotten our mind off the track, and we need to just get back in truth of who we are. Being a spiritual person doesn't mean we're not going to have crap in our life sometime. It doesn't mean we're not going to have difficulties. It doesn't mean we're supposed to sweep it over like it's nothing. We deal with it. I can't tell you how many pillows I've punched in my lifetime. It feels really good. So, there you have it. All right, so we need to quit. So it's because it's already 11 o'clock. So let's just do